Now that you've taken the faith leap of leading a small group, you want to make sure that your group is set up for success and ready to launch. As much as we would love for community to happen organically, a good system will give a framework for that community to grow. Try to imagine the details for the group as a trellis in a garden. A trellis is a structure you put in your garden to help plants grow in the direction they are supposed to. Otherwise, the vines from the other plants may grow organically, but they will go everywhere and eventually choke out the plants. When there is a trellis, the plants will wrap around the framework of the structure to go straight up and healthy. Well-planned details will be the trellis for the small group. They will help shape the direction and culture of the group. A poorly planned small group will eventually choke out the life of the group. Answering the following 4 questions will help you go through those key details before the group launches. 1, where will the group be located? You have a lot of choices of where the weekly group meeting will take place, and each choice has pros and cons. A natural location for your small group to meet is in your home or the home of another group member who are willing to consistently host. Hosting a group in a home helps create community faster than many other locations, but there are a few things to think about before you decide on this option. How many people can the home comfortably fit? The discussion time will need a room where everyone has a chair and can easily see each other. Is your home located in a geographically centered location for potential group members? For community to happen outside the group time, most group members will need to be less than a 20-minute drive from the meeting location. Will you be available to host a small group for several consecutive weeks? Meeting weekly is the best rhythm for a group to bond quickly. Groups that only meet once a month will never gain the relational equity it takes to build loyalty. Even groups who meet every other week will struggle with consistency. Many neighborhoods have nice clubhouses that sit empty most nights of the week. They sometimes come with a nominal cleaning fee, but are often free to people living in the neighborhood or that apartment complex. Now, they're not as instantly comfortable as someone's home, but they do offer a large gathering place for the group discussion time. Childcare can be an issue at a clubhouse with only one large room. Your church may offer nights during the week where groups can use classrooms as a meeting location. The obvious benefit is having a central location where most group members already go every week. Also, depending on the policies of the church, there will be available rooms where childcare can take place. The downside of meeting at the church is the lack of intimacy offered in a classroom as opposed to somebody's home. Offering food can also be more difficult if there's not an available kitchen. A lot of offices will allow a Bible study to take place on site as long as it's voluntary and done during official break times. If you choose this option, it will limit who you can invite, but will offer you the opportunity to disciple people outside of your normal neighborhood and family circles. The choice of study is more critical in this setting. You'll need a study that fits the time and space constraints of an office setting. A video-enhanced study would be difficult to facilitate, but a book study would work well in a break room. Now, some groups choose third spaces like coffee shops or restaurants to meet. There's a few benefits to these locations for smaller groups of 5 or less. For example, it could provide a good place to meet early in the morning without having to host it. And it could give group members a chance to build relationships with servers and other regulars whom they can share the gospel with. However, mid-size or larger groups, it'll be tough with seating and distraction. It becomes huge obstacles. If your group is more than 5, I recommend avoiding third spaces unless you have no other viable options. 2, what day and time will the group meet? The next decision you'll have to make is what day of the week and what time of the day the group will meet. And this decision is not inconsequential because what you choose will filter out or in who can be a part of the group. For instance, if you choose a night during the week, parents with young children may have a difficult time due to early bedtimes and school activities. Choosing Saturday may interfere with weekend ball games. If you live in the South, Friday night high school football is a big deal and difficult to compete with. I know this one from experience. A later start time will work well for young professionals used to staying out later, but may eliminate people with early alarm clocks. One of our first small groups had a morning radio host who had to be on her job at 4 a.m. I didn't blame her for nodding off a few times during the group discussion. I find that personally Sunday afternoons typically work well for parents with young children, and weeknights with later start times are great for young professionals just getting off work. The day and time will also affect what you offer for food. You can just have snacks and drinks with the later weeknight time, but you should offer dinner if your start time means people are coming straight from work to group. Third, when should we launch the group? Once you decide the day and time for your group, you'll need to pick a date for the launch. There are times of the year that work best for group launches and will help ensure that your small group gets off to a strong start. You'll want to choose a launch date that will allow your group to meet for several weeks before an interruption. A January or February start is a great time to kick off a new or relaunched small group. People often make New Year's resolutions to go to church and get connected in community, and you can take advantage of that momentum by kicking off your group in mid to late January or early February. However, you'll want to avoid starting the group on Super Bowl Sunday unless you're starting with friends who like to watch the game together at your house. Another good opportunity to launch your group is after school starts in August or early September. People are back from vacations and holidays and getting back into a weekly schedule during those months. You can also take advantage of inviting unconnected people who may have moved into your community during the summer. You'll want to avoid launching your group on Labor Day weekend unless, again, it's with a group of friends who will naturally get together for the holiday. If Easter falls early enough on the calendar, post-Easter is also a good time to launch a group off of the crowds of Easter Sunday. If you choose this time to launch, make sure you have at least 6 weeks before the unofficial beginning of summer Memorial Day weekend. That will allow your group to go through a full Bible study and gel before the craziness of summer vacations start. Summer and the holiday season of Thanksgiving, Christmas are not ideal times to launch a small group. The group won't have enough time to bond before being interrupted by all the vacations and events. Number 4, how long should the group meet? Depending on the time of year you start your group, the initial run of the group will be determined by the calendar. If you kick off your group at the beginning of the year, choose a study that will take you up to Easter. The Easter week can then serve as a short break before starting your next study that will end before Memorial Day. A post-Easter start date will call for a 4 to 6 week study before you're forced to break for your weekly meeting rhythm of the summer. If you're starting your group in August or September, look for a study or two that can take your group to the Thanksgiving holiday. If your group is planning to continue to meet through the school year to the summer break, you have the option to choose a longer study, like through an entire book of the Bible with short breaks around the holidays. Preparing well for your small group, it may seem overwhelming and peripheral to the heart of the group, but poor planning will derail the mission of creating disciples. Your members may not point out when meetings go smoothly, but will likely not return if there's too much disorganization. Taking time at the beginning to think through every detail will help leave room for the Holy Spirit to do His work during your times together. For even more ideas and tips on how to prepare for your small group, check out the book Leading Small Groups: How to Gather, Launch, Lead, and Multiply Your Small Group.